Hello and welcome again to Charles Kelly Money Tips. I hope you're having a great day. I've been in the city today and I'm now reporting back to you because I'm thinking in particular today about women and women in terms of investment and savings. And when I was a financial advisor, I found that most women would, in a marriage situation, most women would leave the money side of things and all of the financial arrangements to the partner or the husband. Now, I was listening to Rob Moore recently on his money podcast, and he said he was talking about this, but he was kind of being a little bit politically correct by saying the partner, the breadwinner could be the man or the women. But I'm going to be quite straightforward about this and say that invariably I found that women left the financial decisions to the husband and or partner, and if when that situation changed, like one died or the partner died or the couple split up, it was normally the woman that was left in a position where she was either destitute because she didn't have any money or because she just didn't know what to do with the money and how to invest the money. Now, hi to everyone coming on Facebook Live. Hi to Richard, great to see you, and others coming on. Hi. Now, it's come up in another article recently, an article here by Jackie Fast, who's an entrepreneur, investor, public speaker, and former contestant on the TV show The Apprentice. Now, she quotes a figure here. She said that the average British woman spends roughly £211 every single month on day-to-day treats, new clothes, beauty treatments, gym classes, and so on, dining out. And now what she's asked here is how much are these women investing for themselves in terms of ISAs, shares, pensions, and that sort of thing. And in fact, they're only investing less than half of that amount, £98 every month to be precise, into saving schemes and investing for their future. And now you could say that there are reasons for that. Maybe on average women may earn less, or they're taking career breaks, etc., etc. But the fact is that they looked this up and found that for every pound that is invested by a man, 59 pence or 64% is actually invested by a lady. So come on, ladies, she's saying that women have got to do more with their money and take more charge of their money. And I agree with this. Particularly as I saw it in my days in financial advice, when I was a financial advisor, that women were not doing enough to save for themselves. And this will come out later on, particularly if a marriage breaks up or a partnership breaks up. Women can find themselves in a very difficult position. In fact, sometimes women were just signing forms like mortgage forms, and just signing them, and the man was, well, I'm in control here, but the woman would just sign off these forms, and without even thinking about the type of mortgage. Now, that's not everybody. Obviously, I've been into situations where the woman is in control of the money, and the woman wants to know all the facts and figures, and she is taking control. But the figures here seem to show that women are not doing enough to invest and save for themselves, and perhaps they're relying on their partners, their other half, to be not only the provider but the saver for the future, and so on. And I've seen situations where women have totally relied on their partners and been let down because the partners have been either less than honest with the money, or just been reckless with the family finances, and the woman hasn't known anything about it, and that can leave them in a situation of serious destitution. So what I'm saying is to all the women out there is take control of your own finances, make sure you're doing the right things in terms of saving for the future. And I think Jackie Fast said women have got to be a little bit more ballsy with their spare cash. Now, I've mentioned this in my book, of course, Yes, Money Can Buy You Happiness, that everybody needs to follow a system and make sure that they are doing something with their money and putting their money to work, because the wealthy make their money work hard for them, whereas the poor work hard for their money. But in particular, I do believe that women have to really consider their future and their finances and say, look, I've got to do something. Now, this may sound a bit sexist, but I'm basing this on my own experience and on the findings by Jackie Fast, who said, she herself says that we women need to be more ballsy with our cash and do something more with it. So that's the tip today, is particularly aimed at women who I think definitely need to just get more involved with money and invest, but not just leave it in the bank, but look at other things. Go and see a financial advisor. Think about how they can make their money grow. Because if you just leave it in an ordinary deposit account, you might only be earning 0.25% at the moment. And that would take 40 years for your money to double in that account. Now, you should look at ISAs, because ISAs are tax-free. They have this wrapper around it. And that was my word of the day yesterday, an ISA. What is an ISA? An individual savings account that wherein the money is tax-free. And you can put $20,000 a year into an ISA at the moment. So you should be using every penny of that allowance, because the money remains tax-free forever. Other things you can do is just take financial advice, just read about it. And another one of my earlier tips was to take a financial advisor course, not to become a financial advisor, but take the basic course to learn what financial advisors learn before they can go out and be let loose on the public. Now, when I became a financial advisor, I was amazed at what I learned. It was such an eye-opener, and I was amazed that I learned and knew more than around 98% of the public, and 98% of the people I met knew less than me after just doing a few weeks or a month or so on a financial advisor course. Now, you can do these things online now, of course. You can go online and buy a financial advisor course, and you will know so much more than the average person in the street just by doing that. And then when you do see your own financial advisor, you can question that financial advisor. So hold on a second, I know this and I know that. Now, and they will be more on their toes with you if you do demonstrate some knowledge. Just like when you go into a garage and you know a bit about cars, the mechanic is not going to take advantage of you because you know a bit more than the average member of the public. So that would be my tip. It was in one of my very early podcasts to say, take a financial advisor course so that you know what you're talking about. But you can find out so much online now by listening to this podcast, for instance, and maybe by reading my book. A little plug there. Sorry about that. But you can learn a lot online nowadays. So I would suggest you do that and not just blindly put your money into the first account down the high street, but actually do a bit of research. Another good tip is to read the financial papers, read a quality newspaper like the Financial Times or the Times. If you don't want to buy it every day, go and look at it down the library. Also, the weekend papers like the Telegraph on Saturday, the Sunday Times, the Mail on Sunday have very, very good financial sections where they have a whole section covering financial financial news and financial tips and money tips and that sort of thing. But definitely, get more involved, and so that you don't end up like an increasing group of people who go through life and have just don't have any money left. They've spent all their money, and then say, well, someone's got to look after me because all the money I had is spent. It's the old joke of people saying that, unfortunately, my best earning years coincided with my highest spending years, and that's why they've got no money left. But it is tragic that people can work for 30, 40, even longer years, and then find that, they say, where did it all go? I just don't know what happened. Where did all the money go? Not only where did all the years go, but where did all the money go? I just don't know where it goes. Well, now's your time to find out. And I in the book, I quote systems you can use to make sure that you know where the money goes, what's coming in and what's going out. So that's my tip today, is to really get to grips with it, especially the ladies who are too often leaving it all to their partners, to the men in their lives, to look after the finances. That's no longer good enough. And I found that when I had lady clients who did really look into it, they went into detail much more than men. They were more of a detailed person, and when they did pay attention to the money side of things, they were very good at money. And some of the best financial advisors I knew were female, because they tended to look at more detail than the men, and go into it in depth and ask very probing questions about why we were recommending a certain course of action. But so definitely have a look at that. And my word of the day is derivatives. I mentioned derivatives the other day, and some people said to me, "What are derivatives?" I'm not going to go into it in vast detail. You could learn this if you did a financial advisor course. But derivatives came about during the popularity of them came about during the 80s and 90s, when there was a major growth in the financial sectors. Now, in financial markets, things like stock prices, share prices, bond prices, currency rates, interest rates, and dividends go up and down, and that creates a risk for investors. Now, derivative products are financial products which enable us to control and exploit the risk. So you might take a derivative based on what you think would happen in the future to a certain financial product or market, and this enables you to make money on the outcome of your bet, if you like, by taking derivatives. It can provide a hedge, if you like. Now, for the average investor, derivatives are not going to come into the fore. You're going to be investing in things like ISAs, maybe shares, maybe tracker funds, maybe property, directly into property and pensions. But derivatives are used in the financial markets by banks and investment banks. But I wouldn't particularly worry about derivatives. Just look at the basic products that you can invest in, and as always, take advice from an independent financial advisor, not somebody who's selling one particular product from a bank, or insurance company. Go to an independent financial advisor that can give you a wide range of advice based on the whole market, not just what they're particularly trying to sell. So that's all for now. This is particularly for the ladies out there. Make sure you start taking control of your finances and don't leave it up to the men. Thank you.